distance nerding.
Oh no, you can see off screen. Hold on.
Look at that.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
What it do? What it do?
What it do? What it do? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Taco Tuesday? Taco Tuesday. That's right. You know what that means. You are now experiencing distance nerding.
Part of the Geek Freaks network of podcasts. Oh, yeah.
That's right. Say Bruce Campbell's name 3 times and this guy appears. It's Graveyard.
He's rumored to play our Princess Zelda. It's the one and only John Maz 5000.
Whoa, wait.
With his
And
light arrows.
EA's canceling his game streams as we speak. It's young Phil, and we're here to nerd together. Yeah, nailed it for the 226th time. Oh my gosh. Talking about anything pop culture, news, movies, food, music, wrestling, comics, Comic-Cons, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it.
Let's jump into the show. You are now watching the worst kept secret on all of the internet. It is now time to get into the download. All right. Well, with that being said, we've done our Geek End update. It is now time to start some rumors.
I don't know where the music is at, but I'm gonna sing over
right here.
it because it's not even there. Do 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 do.
Who
How's
needs
that?
buttons when you got James?
How was that?
Exactly, right? Like who all needs this? That hopefully made it so we didn't get banned in Belarus, right?
Belarus is like, we like that guy.
Yeah, we like him.
Belarus
No,
idol coming.
Well, let's jump right into all of the stories that we've got going on here on today's show, guys. You can keep on bet, sure, that Ryan Coogler's Sinners is going to get a sequel. Ryan Coogler's Sinners was a twisted Southern Gothic movie-going experience that became a box office hit. Now it looks like Warner Brothers is ready to turn it into a franchise. The original film wrapped up most of its storylines, but that mid-credit stinger cracked open a door just wide enough for a sequel to slip through. Tacos on the tables, guys. Does Coogler and Warner Brothers have a taste for more box office blood with the sequel?
Oh,
Ooh.
the bloody tacos are on the table because nothing makes a studio move like money sitting on the table like that. They're like, ooh, look at that. We didn't pay a ton for that. We don't have to pay a ton more. Let's do it again.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I agree that they, and more so, Warner Brothers is not going to leave money on the table kind of thing. Do I think this movie needs a sequel? I don't. I don't think this particular movie needs a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was tied up so well and the story was done really well. I don't think there needs to be a direct sequel. Now, if Ryan Coogler were to do an anthology series, like movies that are tangentially connected together, that have to do with maybe this line of vampires or traditional monsters that are in kind of like settings that are like, you know, southern rural black settings or things like that. Like I like the idea of putting a vampire in the Black South and having that kind of like that happen, right? Because like you Graveyard, you saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
All right, James, did you see it?
No. Is it kid friendly?
It is not.
Yes.
At all.
Yes, very much.
Very
so.
much is. If your kid is Graveyard.
Because I went and saw Lilo and Stitch opening
Which
weekend.
I still haven't seen yet. I want to go see that. I just with all the cons that we've been doing, I haven't had time to go to the movies. But no, this movie is amazing, right? And I've said it maybe 3 or 4 weeks on this show that this movie deserves all of the Oscars. It deserves all of the awards because not only is it a genre movie, but the drama aspect of the movie it's phenomenal. The writing is absolutely second to none, right? And I feel like if you're gonna make a sequel to this movie, do not make it a direct sequel to this movie. Make it a movie that lives within this universe, where maybe next you deal with werewolves, in the deep south. Maybe not the deep south, but like somewhere else, where you can deal with black culture, and it's not comedic. Because
Lugaroos would be deep south werewolves.
but what I'm saying is like doing something that lives within this universe. Like, again, maybe dealing with the werewolf in New Orleans.
Yeah,
because then you can tie it into black culture. You know what I mean? And it not be comedic, because if you look at a lot of these movies where you take monsters and these kind of tropes and you put them in in a black setting, it tends to be a comedy. So I like the idea of doing a movie that's more serious within this kind of realm, or even doing like Chupacabra and dealing with like Latinos and things like that, because Coogler's good at directing that kind of stuff. So I just want to see them kind of like take the same concept as this, but it doesn't have to be the same characters, it doesn't have to be the same setting, but do the same idea of a serious drama that happens to have monsters dealing with it in the background.
I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, my tacos are half on the table and the blood's dripping down the side. Is that, as a horror person, do I want to see more horror movies in the mainstream? I do, but also I as you know, I'm a big independent guy, and I know this exact idea you're talking about, Phil, has happened in the indie world,
right,
already. So, it's yes, it's great and it's not great. I want, like I said, this horror community to grow, but do I want Warner Brothers attached to it so we have like the 8th Conjuring or 8th Sinners and just gets all the life sucked out of it?
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I see exactly
what you did.
I think honestly, Ghost on the Plantation would be the next good movie for that.
Yeah, I like that too. Like, again, doing something in the realm, like it wouldn't be called Sinners, right? Sinners is the name is connected to the story, but like doing something like a separate name, separate monster, or
from the world of Sinners.
You could do that if you want to do it for marketing, and I know that Warner Brothers will, but it's more like Coogler's just making a movie, and there are references within the movie that make it to where it is something that lives in that same universe. But it is not one of those things where you're trying to create a shared universe. It just happens to be something that is in that same realm.
Right.
I would prefer that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would prefer something like that rather than just, let's make a franchise that we're going to beat to death. Rather than that, let's allow Coogler to make more horror movies.
Yeah, I agree. If he's not making more Black Panther,
which he's working on anyway. So
exactly.
Unless it's a game. Spoiler alert.
We'll get to that later. So let's do you guys have any more any comments on this?
No.
All right, let's move on to the next story here.
All right. So Hunter Schafer eyed to play Princess Zelda in Nintendo's live action The Legend of Zelda adventure movie. Galinda is coming to dinner, you fuckers. Yeah, it's the Legend of Zelda live action movie station is building, and now a new rumor has just kicked in. The fan excitement is into overdrive. Now, Cuckoo and the Hunger Games, the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes star Hunter Schafer is reportedly being eyed for the role of Princess Zelda. This actor has a strong resume with roles in Euphoria and possibly even X-Men, as Schafer is rumored to be bringing the mix to play Mystique in the Marvel Studios reboot. The Legend of Zelda film is scheduled to hit theaters March 26, 2027. So, tacos on table. Is this Zelda casting rumor true or just a Breath of the Wild rumor? I can see definitely, my tacos on the table. I can definitely see her being that Zelda. And specifically, it's going to have to be the Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom Zelda, because before those games, Zelda was always a damsel in distress. I don't think they're going to take the Zelda franchise in that series of damsel in distress, that she's going to have a bigger part and play part of the Triforce, right? She is part of the hero she has the Triforce of Wisdom, and I think that'll be a major part in the movie. But you, James?
I agree. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, my tacos are on the table. I totally think she could be Zelda. Just looking at her right there, I'm like, you kidding me? Her ears are practically pointy already. Like in a good way, like in a respectful way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't want to piss off Princess Zelda.
I can see it. I can see Hunter Schafer playing Princess Zelda. I do know that there are a lot of people pissed off because there's a rumor that they may be casting a trans woman to play Princess Zelda, and a lot of people are like up in arms about it. But I mean, like, she's got the look.
Also, it's a fantasy world, so who cares?
I agree, 100% agree with that.
Yeah. Oh, say on which Zelda? I honestly think if they do their cards right, they can play. I mean, because no Zelda games generally are connected to each other, so they could do this forever to have different realms every 100 years. A new Zelda movie with the same actors playing Zelda and Link, and everyone else just recycled the stories that are in the games.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like instead of going off of a story that is already done, I almost feel like what they should do is consult with the writers of the game and create a new story. Like, take something that typically would have been turned into a game and make a treatment for a movie for it. So that way it is a story that lives within the universe. You can also put a little bit of exposition in there that explains why it's different from the games. That
kind of like the Fallout method.
Right. I kind of like the idea, especially where you have franchises like Zelda where the games, are not like they're reincarnations essentially in different universes. So kind of like maybe in this movie they're self-aware of that. Now it doesn't have to be, cyberpunk, jumping between universes thing, but it's kind of like you're aware of the magic or some, there's maybe the Deku tree explains it. You know what I mean? And like it gives you an excuse to bring in some of the major characters from other games. But at the same time, you're respecting the content of the game without changing any of the lore from any of the other games.
Yeah. I like Se Wong's things then that she's too old. Well, Se Wong, Princess Zelda is generally 10 years old in the games. Right. So most actresses are going to be too old to play them for 10, 15 years. But here's the thing. I have no tacos on the table. Will this quelch the live action video game stigma that exists? Because animated video game movies generally do much better. Mario being a huge thing, Sonic being a huge thing, but live action, as long as Yui Bowl is not attached to it, we should be fine. But do you think this will quelch that stigma that exists?
It could. The other thing too is yes, Se Wong's making a point that she's typically 10 in most of the games, right? And that's true, but what's to say that this isn't something that's later on where they're either in their 20s, or a little bit older. There's nothing to say that you can't do a storyline that is them older. Also, specifically, I would love what's her ninja alter ego?
Sheik.
I would love to see her become Sheik in this movie.
Oh, you have to. You have to be. You have to have the warrior Sheik. You have to have all this stuff. Now that at that point in time, she's 17, but also they're Hyruleans, aka elves. They could live for we don't know how long, quite honestly.
Right.
So Sheik's not a guy. Sorry, Se Wong.
If they do the Sheik thing, Sheik will most likely be a guy. Why?
You guys keep saying Sheik, and all I can think of is the Iron Sheik's voice is in my head. He's like,
"That's
Sheiky, baby."
That's who we're getting. That's who we mean by Sheik. He will be playing. The Iron Sheik will play.
She's just gonna call everybody jabroni.
Yeah, I love it.
And then she's gonna cuss out Hulk Hogan on the screen.
Well, that'll work.
I like to say along saying biological man. Once again, fantasy world, not human.
And he's talking about how Zelda used magic to transform into a biological man. Hence, where if you, I don't know this. I'm not even going to go that route.
Say, well, just watch She's the Man. It can tell you how you can disguise yourself.
And
Classic
the
movie.
If you get a woman that can that knows martial arts, or at least can feign martial arts on screen, you don't necessarily need to make Sheik a man.
Cheeky baby.
He just doesn't want another Taskmaster situation. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, you get somebody who's like super kick ass, like a decent martial artist, and even then, you don't even need to have her do it because of the mask. She never takes off the mask. Get a stunt person in that mask the entire time.
Yeah, we know it's not going to be her under the mask. We know that, but
so, anyways, we're rolling too hard on this right now.
We are.
My tacos are on the table. I feel like she's got the look, as far as like the character goes. So my tacos are on the table. I think that she's good casting, for Princess Zelda.
Oh, there you go. All right, let's keep going.
Who's going to play Link? But let's keep going.
All right, Spidey glasses are tingling. Marvel's Vision series cast is assembling, and the latest edition has ties to Tony Stark and Peter Parker. Schitt's Creek star Emily Hampshire has joined the cast of Vision as the human form of Edith. I did not see this coming. The Stark created AI system first introduced in Spider-Man Far From Home. Edith was Stark's posthumous gift to Peter Parker, an augmented reality AI defense system housed in a pair of slick sunglasses, granting access to Stark's satellites, drones, and firepower. All right. Okay. Schitt's Creek. Here we go. Tacos on the table. Does the Vision series get a new prescription or casting for Edith in the series?
Ooh, I mean, my tacos are on the table. There's been a lot of conversations about what all Vision might have, that we may be seeing multiple versions of the AIs that exist. We have the other ones that he has before he picks Fry ultimately, right? And because we'll have to see how it goes, because even in death, he's the hero. So I think tacos are on the table. I think we're definitely going to see this, like, especially as Ultron coming back, this robotic familiar AI war.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I get you on that. I had to look her up because I was like, is she the one from the hotel? She is.
Yes.
Emily Hampshire does not look like she's 43. Sorry, she looks a lot younger. Which is fine. I'm just saying, she does not look like. I pulled her up and it said she's 43. Like, what? No. But no, I think that's actually good casting. She has the right type of attitude to play that type of character. I think that, I think her as Edith is decent casting. I'm gonna go with my tacos on the table on this one.
Yeah, they already said that. What's his name? James Spader is going to be in this as Ultron,
right?
And they already said that Joe Costa is going to be in this as well. So, like, this is going to be like a whole AI robot war happening in in this series.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, who voiced Edith in the Spider-Man movie? Why wouldn't they have her come back? Because we got Paul Bettany back as Jarvis to play Vision. You think it would make sense that we'd have Jennifer Connelly playing Friday as well.
Was it Jennifer
I don't know.
Connelly?
Jennifer Connelly was Friday.
Edith. Oh, Jennifer Connelly. I mean, that'd be cool to have Jennifer Connelly come back as Friday and live action in this. Not to say that she won't. Spider-Man. Look up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Dawn Michelle King.
Oh, actually, so she was the first assistant editor on several Marvel films. So I think she just did the voice. So she probably didn't want to do the acting portion of it. So they recast.
That makes sense then. Okay.
All right. Cool. Tacos on the table.
Oh, yeah. All the tacos.
All right. Speaking Speaking of Spidey tingling, Nicole Kidman is no stranger to comic book genre films, but has not made her MCU debut yet. Kidman is being eyed to play the female villain in the upcoming sequel to Spider-Man Brand New Day. Tacos on the table. Is the Queen of Atlantis jumping ship for the MCU? I didn't see this one coming.
No, but at the
Ooh.
same time, I don't think that, because I mean, she's not going to come back as Atlanta, and it's just
Yeah.
mainly because uh, they're not going with those characters in the DC going forward. So
Mhm.
it makes sense to not have Nicole Kidman, you know, like, or to have her come over into the MCU. The question is, what villain does she play?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Especially like as a Spider-Man villain.
As a Spider-Man villain,
Yeah.
she could almost be Black Cat's mom that works with Fisk,
Ooh.
or honestly, Lilandra.
You know what?
Like
She would
X-Men
be,
launch?
she
Yeah.
would, she would be a dope Lilandra, actually. Look, she would be the dope bird lady.
Yeah,
She is a bird lady.
she
So
is.
I had to look up, okay, because his rogues are so massive. Like, there's so many rogues that he has.
Hmm.
So there's Lady Octopus, which is more relatively newer character. Black Cat, Silver Sable, Julia Carpenter, Madam Web, Scream, Shriek, and Spider Woman #2.
Yeah, I mean, Madam Web isn't necessarily a villain. I can see her playing Madam Web, but I feel like she's too young
That's a waste.
to play
Her as
Madam
Madam
Web.
Web. Yeah, her as Madam Web is a waste.
Yeah, I like Lilandra.
Dakota Johnson is just like, what are you saying? I'm old right now?
I mean, technically, she was supposed to be old in the first place.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, my tacos are on the table. I mean, as you said, that phase of the DCU is gone and in place. So I think when we get
Yeah.
new Aquaman, we'll get a new actress playing
Yeah.
her role as well.
It definitely opens the doors to be like, hey, Marvel, I'm free. Let's do this.
Oh, she could be Stunner.
She is stunning. So,
Well,
yeah.
Stunner's older though, so I mean, like, that's why, like, she could
How?
probably fit into Stellar or Charlotte Witter. Ooh,
How dare you? All right. Where are your tacos? You're waiting for your tacos, staring at your phone.
I'm sorry, because I'm looking up characters.
He's looking at Nicole Kidman.
I'm looking at Nicole Kidman right now. Who is not? If you're not looking at Nicole Kidman right now, you're wrong. My tacos are on the table that she's jumping to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest brand in the world, regardless of how people feel, whether they feel that it's, they have fatigue on it or not. I mean, Marvel, they are the largest films in the world, so it's kind of like it's a no brainer to join that,
Mm-hmm.
That brand. So,
Absolutely, awesome.
all right, well, let's continue.
Well, speaking of tingling, a new rumor is making the rounds that Spider-Man Brand New Day might see Tom Holland's Peter Parker team of John Barenthal's Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, to take on none other than Mark Ruffalo's the Hulk. So talks on the table for a street level battle with Hulk, Spider-Man, and Punisher. Now, this is an interesting one because it's what we may see Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, but what version of Hulk? Because with the changes of these dates, now Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be before Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
as it sits right now, yeah.
As it sits right now. So do you think that changes where it might be potentially on Battle World, and does it change it to be pre-Battle World at this point in time?
Yeah. It's interesting. That fight would be interesting to begin with, just because, number one, canonically in the comics, Frank and Pete don't get along at all.
Well, anyone and Frank don't get along.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, Frank gets along a little bit with Matt Murdock, but I mean, like, for the most part, Frank and Pete have never gotten along, and it's mostly because just like everybody else in Marvel, nobody agrees with the way that Frank goes about things. He's a little too violent. He's willing to kill. You know, he's a little bit too out there. I know Steve absolutely hates Frank, so it's like, you know, it's interesting to see. Like, I can see the team up happening because I can see Pete getting his ass handed to him by the Hulk.
That's
handling himself, but still getting his ass kicked. And Frank just shows up because it's in New York. It's in his city. Frank's just going to show up and start hitting him with grenades. And if anything, it's just going to distract the Hulk.
I heard it was supposed to be a Savage Hulk that's supposed to be in this.
If it's Savage Hulk, that's
they wouldn't survive. That's
he's going to kill all of them.
Yeah. My tacos are partially on the table. I think there will be a street level battle. I don't think we're going to destroy New York again with the Hulk. I think it's going to have to be someplace else, or it may actually be tied into, you know, still might be in the middle there on battle where we just don't know it yet. That
New Jersey, nobody cares.
New Jersey, exactly. So because if we have Frank and it's in New York, there's no way Daredevil would not be there, and that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah. But who's to say that Matt's not going to be there, right? I mean, Matt's already been in the Spider-Man movie, so it's not like you can't put Matt Murdock in another Spider-Man movie. The thing is to what extent is Frank Castle wrecking things because it's Frank Castle,
right?
And we know after watching Born Again, like, Frank's unhinged.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, we're getting that straight up comic book version of Frank Castle. Like, we kind of saw the ascent to that in the Daredevil and the Punisher TV show, but where he's at by Daredevil Born Again, he is completely unhinged. He has devolved into that version of Frank Castle that we know from the comics.
So my tacos, when it comes to Punisher and the Hulk being in Brand New Day, my tacos are off the table. I've heard so many different rumors about the storyline for this movie. I just don't think it's it just seems like a far reach to, like, oh, let's pull the Hulk and the Punisher into this Sony movie. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I think I agree with you, man. Typically I'm usually pretty optimistic about these kind of things. And it's not that I don't want this type of team up, but the thing is I feel like realistically, Spider-Man and Punisher fighting the Hulk in downtown New York, I don't feel like, unless the plan is that Battle World is going to erase everything and people are going to forget everything that happened, so then it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't see them putting Peter and Frank on screen with the Hulk unless one of them is going to die.
Right.
At the hands of the Hulk.
Yeah. And a prevalent theory that exists out there is that's the idea of Savage Hulk is because Hulk wasn't around to have his memory wiped during the Doctor Strange spell. So therefore, he would remember who Peter Parker is.
The other thing is we haven't seen the Hulk since his arm was immobilized.
Well,
didn't we see him in She-Hulk?
Oh, we did.
But but only as Smart Hulk, never as the actual Hulk that we had before Smart
right.
Hulk.
We haven't seen him like as the mindless version of the Hulk since before Infinity War.
Yeah. Gotcha. Though I did hear something about if they put the Hulk in this movie, they're probably going to say that Bruce Banner doesn't remember who Peter Parker is, but the Hulk may remember who Peter Parker is.
Yep.
And that would be a way to, like, tie it in and give him purpose to be in this movie. So I'm like, oh, okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah. That would actually be really interesting.
All right.
Well, let's go ahead and move on here, guys, because we do have the next story coming up. Guys, is the MCU casting heating up? Because Ryan Gosling could be taking on the role of the Spirit of Vengeance in the MCU. We've mentioned before, But according to the new rumor, Marvel Studios may be looking at casting the Barbie and Fall Guy star in the role of Ghost Rider in Avengers Doomsday. Tacos on the table. Are you ordering these Ryan Gosling Ghost Rider rumors to go?
Ooh.
Grave, what do you think?
I mean, I honestly want Nick Cage at least as Ghost Rider for Secret Wars, but after it, my tacos will be on the table. I can see Ryan Gosling play Johnny Blaze for sure. For sure.
My tacos are on the table mainly just because Ryan Gosling he's been talking about wanting to play Johnny Blaze for like the last 5-6 years. You know, and he still has the look. He can still do it. It's not like Nick Cage was the youngest dude in the world when he played Johnny Blaze.
And he had CGI abs. So
and he had CGI abs, right? And now you have Ryan Gosling who has real abs. So I mean, like the thing is also Ryan Gosling has the comedic timing for Johnny Blaze, but also the serious acting to do Ghost Rider. So
is abs a necessity for Ghost Rider? Doesn't he just wear a leather jacket?
It's the joke, but I mean, like, I feel like I said, I think Ryan Gosling is a very good pick for Johnny Blaze, because again, Johnny Blaze usually is kind of like, you know, kind of quippy, kind of funny. Will drop a joke every now and then because I mean, he's a stunt guy, right? Which Ryan Gosling has played at this point. But then as Ghost Rider, you need him to be kind of scary, kind of serious, which Ryan Gosling has in spades.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw The Notebook. That was terrifying.
That was horrible. Horrifying. So I agree with both of you that, yes, Ryan Gosling is probably lined up to be Ghost Rider, but my tacos are off the table for him to be Ghost Rider in Doomsday. So in a year and a half from now, is he going to be in his leather jacket with his abs? I just don't see it happening. I think there's too much going on in Doomsday to be like, let's also insert a new Ghost Rider.
I do think Doomsday is probably a good place to introduce him, just because they are probably going to introduce a bunch of multiverse characters that don't necessarily live in the universes we're in. So I think like this would be a good place to bring in Johnny Blaze. This would be a good place to bring in who's the second Thor?
Jane Foster.
Beta Ray Bill. An imposter. No, Beta Ray Bill. Like this would be a good place to bring in Beta Ray Bill, you know, things like that, especially because there have been hints that Beta Ray Bill exists in the MCU, but we haven't seen Beta Ray Bill yet. In this case, Johnny Blaze, like I feel like this is a good place, like Doomsday is a good place to introduce the Midnight Suns as like a villain factor, as guys that are like minions to Doom.
Oh, see, I think they'd be good in the Perpetual Midnight Suns part of Secret World, of Battle World, not in Doomsday.
Gotcha. I do like saying Beta Ray Bill. Just throwing it out there, Matt. Thank you for throwing that out there.
That is, you do like saying it.
Matt Aguilar. I think Phil just like saying Beta Ray Bill. Not wrong.
All right, I'm going to keep it going here. Keep it going. Now for some fantastic forecasting rumor news. Yeah, see what I did there? We are just a month away from Fantastic Four First Steps. Joseph Quinn has revealed that the film will feature yet another villain. He said, we've got a lot of fantastic characters in there. There's also Mole Man, who is wonderful in it, but Galactus is the big bad. All right, Joseph Quinn. Thanks for throwing it out there. Appreciate it. There have been rumors that Mole Man would appear in the Fantastic Four First Steps, though there has been no official confirmation until now. The popular theory is that Paul Walter Hauser, who's on screen there, could be playing Mole Man as he's cast in the film, but he has not been confirmed about who he's playing. So Fantastic Four First Steps will be released July 25th, 2025. Tacos on the table. Are you ready for some Mole Man tacos?
Oh, my tacos are on the table. I think that the Fantastic Four will have their first battle because he is the first villain. And it's going to kind of like be a highlight reel though, and not a full on battle. Think of the like the Underminer in the Incredibles type.
Isn't
That's
that an
exactly what I was
homage? That was
thinking.
an homage, right?
Absolutely,
was.
yes, yeah. So I think it'll be a brief kind of like like a news outlet as they're showing like how they're doing all the stuff for the first family, and like here's some of our best highlights that we've had so far. Here's who we've defeated, and this will be in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel the same route as you, but not like a highlight thing. I feel like when the movie starts, they're going to be fighting Mole Man. It's going to be exactly like The Incredibles, where it's like the idea to show that the Fantastic Four are alive and well and are the team that we know that they can be and that they are, that they're actual established superheroes. They're going to show them fighting a villain, and dispatching that villain. And that villain is probably going to be Mole Man. And that makes sense. Because I kind of felt like, I feel like that was something that we said a while back, that Paul Walter Hauser, when we heard that he got cast in Fantastic Four, that was like, he's probably going to be Mole Man.
Yeah. This is everyone's assumption, I think, from day one.
Yeah.
Isn't that like the cover of like Fantastic Four #1? Like them fighting Mole Man?
No, it's not Mole Man. It's a giant green creature that's coming out of the sewers with his arm raised.
Oh. Close enough.
Close enough. But yeah,
but he was moles, whatever.
Yeah. Close.
I love that Matt Aguilar in the chat said the League of Enchiladas. It's Mole Man, but it's not like Mole Man, it's Mole Man.
Yes, Mole Man. Get it? That's a joke.
I like it.
All right, I'm going to keep it going here. From Fantastic Four news to uncast the X-Men rumors, Marvel has been eyeing Bryan Cranston. It's a joke. Just let it go. Eyeing Bryan Cranston for the role of Professor X in Marvel Studios' upcoming X-Men reboot. Cranston did say he wanted to play an antagonist like Mr. Sinister, but Kevin Feige gets what Kevin Feige wants. So tacos on the table. Would you like to see Breaking Bad Cranston as Professor X or Mr. Sinister?
Ooh, you know where my tacos are of who I want to see more than Mojo, and that's Mr. Sinister. I think Cranston would be a perfect Mr. Sinister. I'd like my tacos to be off the table for that because I want him as Sinister.
I mean, he definitely would have to portray an older Sinister.
Mm-hmm.
Sinister's also hundreds of years old, so that's okay.
He is, but the thing is that whenever Sinister augments himself, he always looks younger. So
right,
that's my only thing with Bryan Cranston is as much as I love Bryan Cranston, he's an amazing actor, and I think he pretty much can act his way through anything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Bryan Cranston maybe 10 years ago would have been a really good Mr. Sinister. But now I feel like you have to go with somebody like in their 40s for convincing Mr. Sinister.
Okay.
I gotcha.
Bryan Cranston, and the thing is again, it depends on where they go with Professor X. And in Graveyard, we talked about this on the build multiple times. Professor X, if you go the route of the comics, eventually becomes a villain.
Yep. Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, because the thing with Professor X is his villain power is that he manipulates people into doing the things he wants.
He could have been a villain this entire time.
Yeah, so I mean,
he is.
Yeah, he pretty much is.
My tacos are on the table for Professor X. I could see like a big name like this, and Kevin Feige's like, you know what? Give me a big name that can anchor the X-Men, and we think it's going to be Cranston. Right. Whereas, if you put him in as Mr. Sinister, I agree. Like, you should have some kind of younger, kind of chiseled looking guy as Sinister. And unless they do some kind of Kaiser Soze type Mr. Sinister, where he's always like lurking in the background, and they show Cranston as Mr. Sinister, but he's never quite being Mr. Sinister, like with a big leathery strap cape or something like that. Then I think if it's just like in the shadows type Sinister, then he can play Sinister.
My only exception to, you know, as far as like age for Mr. Sinister is if we got John Hamm as Mr. Sinister. John Hamm currently is 54.
Yeah.
Right? So he's a little bit older, but John Hamm still has kind of like those chiseled features. He still has that look where I think he would be a really, really, really good Mr. Sinister. And John Hamm's got the presence on screen to like the gravitas in the way that he delivers lines that Sinister needs to be almost Shakespearean.
Yeah, I can see it, but I said my argument would be that it's who says that his face is not just CGI mask. Like, think Scanner Darkly, because he wants to hide his age and his perfection. There's no way it's going to be someone's actual face just with white paint on it. You know what I mean? True. I think that he'd go the CGI route or AI or robotic augmentation at this point in time too.
Ooh, what if he's like older Sinister, and then he like reboots himself or whatever, you know, into a clone body type thing, and then they bring in another younger John Hamm or somebody else to take on Sinister moving forward.
My only issue with that is that's a waste of Cranston.
Yeah,
I feel like
that is also true.
Yeah, if you waste him on just an older version of a character to give it to another actor later, I feel like that's wasting Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston is too good of an actor to not play a mainstay character.
So you're saying Professor X?
I've been saying that's what I was saying from the beginning. I think he would be a very good Professor X. I think again, Professor X needs to be somebody who carries weight on screen, somebody who has the gravitas, like I mentioned before. And I think that Cranston is another person that has that acting ability. I just feel like to play Sinister now, I feel like he's too old to play Sinister.
Okay.
But I think he is probably the right age for Professor X.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's waist Cran.
Matt is just spitballing in the chat. Cran waist, Cran. Let me think about that.
Matt's like, these guys are usually dropping zingers in my show, so I am going to drop zingers for them today. We appreciate you, Matt.
Professor Waste, Mr. Waster, sir.
Mr. Waste Bag. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on here. Get your
special.
Wait a minute. I know, right?
Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
According to a new rumor making its rounds online, the new Marvel project that Ryan Reynolds is working on might bring together Deadpool, Wolverine, Cable, and Storm for an X-Force style team-up movie. As previously reported, Reynolds said that Deadpool will be taking a back seat and serve more as a supporting comedic player while the spotlight shifts to the larger team dynamic. This film will be separate from the official MCU X-Men reboot, which Michael Lasley is writing. Tacos on the table. Could Marvel pull this type of movie together as the next Deadpool film?
Ooh.
My tacos are off the table on this. This sounds super cool, but could they make that happen for a Deadpool movie versus bringing, say, Storm and Wolverine into like the new X-Men in Disney? In Marvel, you know,
right?
I would say no. I'd say Feige would be like, no, this toy that is, you know, Wolverine, this toy that is Storm, I'm gonna put over here in my big sandbox versus in my Deadpool sandbox.
The only thing with that is
it's a little dirty, you know,
right?
Birds
the only thing with
in.
that, because like you can get whoever is gonna play Storm next, you can have them in this film. The issue is that Hugh said that he's pretty much done. He came back for the Deadpool Wolverine movie. He may come back for one more, but like, you know, he's talked about in the past that it is way too much to keep up the body that he needs for Wolverine. And you saw him in the last movie.
He can just not take his shirt off and doesn't have to do all that work. I'm just saying.
That's what I do. Everybody's fooled.
They are. They are.
I would like to see all 4 of these characters together, though. I'd love to see an X-Force. Not just them. I'd like to see, so Storm, Cable, Wolverine, Deadpool, but then also add in Forge, also add in Bishop. Like I would love to see those characters together.
Yeah.
And it would be a good point to say recast all these characters so you can put them in different movies. So like I don't think they'd bring back like Halle Berry as Storm and then put her in multiple movies like this. I think they would be like, let's recast Storm and have that younger character, that younger actor, where we can put them in like 4 or 5 different projects and build off that.
Right.
Yeah. My tacos are off the table because I think that what we've discussed before is that each X-Men, instead of having their own origin film and just being an X-Men film, that'd be a limited series. They would get 3 to 4 episodes of per mutant in each team before we get the first X-Men team up movie. And honestly, I don't think X-Force can necessarily happen until that split happens where they go, hey, we're doing this the X-Men way. It's not working. We have to have more violent means. And they'll go, hey, we know a guy. He's a little special and crazy in the head, but it just might work.
The other thing is, I love this is like a backdoor for Josh Brolin to have another character, like a mainstay character in this universe. Like he had the entire focus of the first like entire series of Marvel. So then now it's like, oh hey, let's give Josh Brolin Cable back because he did a really good job with Cable, and have him play Cable in the background for the X-Men movies. And now, this is just an excuse to keep Josh Brolin around.
What if he plays Magneto and Cranston's Xavier?
Ooh.
Josh Brolin as Magneto. That's intense, dude. Like,
yeah, I can see that.
Actually, Josh Brolin is another. If we're gonna go with older Sinister, Josh Brolin is another dude that could play Sinister. That because he has a decent Southern accent, and by the time Sinister is, by the time Nathaniel Essex is at the point where he's at in the mainstay Marvel universe, he would have like gone through the South and had that Southern accent.
Yeah.
Even though, he's technically, he was technically also a Nazi. He was technically also
from Boston, I believe.
I believe he's originally from Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Boston.
He's got his Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, perfect person to play Sinister. All right.
Yeah.
Affleck. That's exactly it. Affleck goes from Batman to Sinister.
Love it. Oh, look.
He's not Boston.
He's not going to be. Okay. He's not going to be Batman, so might as well bring him on over.
Matt in the chat saying I could totally hear Brolin as Sinister, right? Like I can hear it in my head because of it's that gravelly voice, and again another really good actor.
Yeah,
Mark Wahlberg as Sinister. Jesus, no.
Mark Wahlberg as Sinister.
You gotta say
Mark could not be Sinister. I'm sorry.
You gotta say it like this. What? No.
What? No.
Hey, Gene, how's it going?
Hey,
you got mutant powers? I got powers over here too. You a mutant? I'm a mutant.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Slackus and Jean Grey, let's put them together.
Oh god! All right. Well, let's. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
No.
Now all I can hear is Mark Wahlberg's voice in my head. So thanks for that.
Well, I mean, we have to end it with some Doom. Right? Doom. Avengers Doomsday is said to kick off in Wakanda with Shuri, Namor, and M'Baka showing off updated looks. But the crazy thing is, was shown that Dr. Doom is allegedly controlling the Sentinels, like the mutant hunting robots that we saw standing outside the X-Mansion in earlier set photos. This sets up a major confrontation with the X-Men, who are now in comic-accurate suits, as it sees Deadpool, Gambit, Shang-Chi, and the Invisible Woman all reportedly united to take them down. The reality being explored here seems that Earth 10005, a mashup of the classic X-Men films, Deadpool, Wolverine, and the post-credits stinger from the Marvels. Tacos on the table. Could Doom be this universe's Bolivar Trask?
I kind of like this idea. Like we pick up kind of like the way like say Star Wars starts. We're in the middle of a battle. We're trying to figure out what's going on, and we're all of a sudden we start seeing all these faces and characters we know. People are getting killed left and right, but in reality, in this reality, it's a different universe. You know. Oh, and then that would be a great way to introduce Doom and see how ruthless he is.
Right.
Kind of gets me excited.
They've already said that Channing Tatum, they've confirmed that Channing Tatum is the Gambit from the universe and the post-credit scene of the Marvels.
Yeah, I'm into this. My tacos are on the table. I think somehow
my tacos are 100% on the table.
Sentinels.
I also feel like with the way that they're saying that they're setting this up, this could also be again a backdoor into War of the Kingdoms, which was supposed to be the main storyline of Wakanda Forever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My tacos are on the table because imagine this. Doom is using his Doom bots, but our Bolivar Trask gets one left over and repurposes it to make the Sentinels.
That makes sense too.
I think it's going to be
that's good.
I think it's going to be inspiration for Trask himself.
Yeah, so like Trask is just trying to recreate the Doom bots, but more like subservient, and he creates
correct. And Doom bots are essentially, Tony Stark's bots.
Yeah,
in his suits. Yeah.
I like that.
Matt said his brain hurts.
That would be a good way to tie it together because that way it all stems from where it started with Iron Man and Tony Stark and his tech, and his tech being used for the wrong purposes.
Right.
Gives us Doom, gives us Sentinels. Ooh.
Oh, right. And then we eventually get back to the Sentinels that we had in Days of Future Past. They're able to mimic people's DNA, not from Rogue, with the help of one only Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister
himself.
I've got my Doom Buster to decide his Doom Buster.
Oh my goodness.
Well, guys, any other thoughts on this before we move on?
My tacos just blew up on the table.
No, my tacos exploded all over the back table over here. So that is it for rumors, guys. And again, my mind is blown with all of this. With the amount of rumors that we had this week, we've got to stop, man. Let's jump into the news and everything else going on, because ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for sorry, I was trying to get everything queued up. It is now time for the download.
All righty. Galinda is coming to dinner, you fuckers. Wait. What?
Yeah, he used that one before.
What?
Because that was in the script.
Who copy pastes after earning an Oscar nomination for her role as Galinda in Wicked? Ariana Grande is jumping from Oz to a much more grounded and dysfunctional world. The Fockers family reunion. Grande is officially joining the Meet the Parents 4, starring alongside Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro. Universal is targeting a November 25th, 2026 release date. The Circle of Trust is opening back up, this time with Ariana Grande with a seat at the table. All right, Ariana, there you go. Getting the movie roles.
I dig it. I'm curious who Ariana is going to play in all of this.
She's going to play a daughter.
But whose daughter, though? Like
Ben Stiller. Yeah. One of his kids.
Oh,
all grown up from little Fockers.
Well, because I was just gonna say, like, little Fockers, they were like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Unless she's like a girlfriend or wife or something of. I don't remember if the little Fockers were they girls? Were they boys?
They had a girl and a boy.
Oh,
yeah.
But this could be the girlfriend of the kid from the first 2 movies.
There you go.
Because he's probably like a grown adult at this point.
Yeah.
There, yeah, go.
Oh.
Oh,
let's go ahead and continue on.
I don't know if you want this one or I want this one because it's has your guy, but has my
Take it, man.
love of So put your conspiracy tinfoil hats on, nerds. Colin Trevorrow and Ryan Reynolds are teaming up on an interesting new film project that revolve around the infamous Area 51. Trevorrow is set to direct and produce the untitled conspiracy theory thriller from Paramount Pictures, and Reynolds is on board to produce through his Maximum Effort banner. According to Deadline, the film takes place in the late 1980s and centers on a local Las Vegas TV journalist who first wrote the story of Area 51. No date when the film will be crash landing into theaters. This is interesting. If it's Maximum Effort and it's going to be in the 80s, there has to be a sign that says stockpile of ET cartridges here.
Oh God, yes, please. I really hope it does.
Yeah.
So this isn't like a documentary or anything. They're just like making a movie, right? It's not like a based on a true story type thing.
But it's a thriller. So most things about most Area 51 is generally comedies at this point in time. So it'll be interesting with that, late 80s, not really much internet going on there at that point in time. So to see what the rumor mill and wild ass theories that exist back then too. I'm for it.
Yeah. No, I love that they're choosing the 80s specifically because that's a time where you're not going to have hey, I'm going to record this and put this on the internet. It's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, did nobody else see this?
Yeah, back when we were afraid of the government in the Area 51.
Right.
It's going to be one of those like based on a true story, but we've altered it a bunch to make it more interesting and spooky.
With Ryan Reynolds, that would 100% be exactly what they do.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
Who's got the next one? Is it me?
I've got the next one here. So let's mainly because he took this one, I'm going to take this one from him. Because I'm sure this is something that he'll also be excited about. And it's very interesting. James Cameron has announced his next film, and no, it's not Blue Aliens. Come on, guys. James Cameron has been very deep in the world of Pandora for years. Filmmaker behind Aliens, Titanic, and Avatar announced on Facebook that his next movie after Avatar, Fire and Ash, will be an adaptation of...
Gotta do it.
The Devils.
Whoa.
Yep, had to do it.
You just have that ready?
Yep.
The Devils.
Is a brand new fantasy novel by British author Joe Abercrombie, and Cameron is producing and co-writing the script with the Abercrombie himself. So we have an opsis here if you want to introduce that for me.
We have a devilish opsis, no blue people, but let's keep the tails synopsis.
Devilish.
Opsis, no blue people, but let's keep the tails synopsis. Had to do it for him. Set in a warped version of our own world,
The Devils.
imagines a Europe crawling with unspeakable monsters and under siege by flesh-eating elves. God, that sounds amazing. The story centers on Brother Diaz, a weary soldier priest tasked with assembling a team of both men and monsters to fight back in rising tide of horror.
Okay.
The Devils.
Is available now in print, ebook, and audiobook formats.
That's interesting that Cameron would be like, this is my next project.
Right.
Well, he's afraid to go under rich people's submarines anymore. So
I would be too. Shit.
Let's get rid of all these water movies. Gotta go. All right.
Well, let's go ahead and continue on here.
All right. From Hogwarts to 30 Rock, NBC is officially all in on The Fall and the Rise of Reggie Dinkins, a new comedy series starring Tracy Morgan and Daniel Radcliffe.
Before you move on, can you re-say that lead in, but do it as Tracy Morgan?
From Hogwarts to 30 Rock.
Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
That's right. The network has handed the project a full series order after announcing a pilot back in March, according to NBC's logline. The show follows a disgraced former football player Tracy Morgan, on a mission to rehabilitate his image. No date, Revelio from the series, Harry.
It's no date, Revelio from the series, Harry.
That's what I just said, Harry.
You have to do the emphasis like the way he does of Harry.
Harry. I said Harry.
Yo, he's such a Brooklyn dude. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Oh man. Oh, I love Tracy Morgan. All right, Tracy Morgan.
He's so funny. I
Yo,
love
that's
Tracy
what's
Morgan.
up, though.
You know what I like though is that him and Radcliffe, such an interesting duo.
It is. And that's the first thing I thought is Tracy Morgan being Tracy Morgan with. I don't know if you've seen the comedies that Daniel Radcliffe has done, but Daniel Radcliffe is really funny.
Yeah, I like it.
He's
I
really good
think
in
it's gonna be
situational
fun.
comedy. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gives 0 Fs on his, like, I don't care if I'm gonna be goofy or serious or get involved with horses, whatever. I'm just gonna do roles I want to do.
Be a farting corpse going across the
That's
water.
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Swiss Army Man just like kind of proves that guy can do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's continue on here. Something I know that the majority of us are excited for because we're going back onto the pitch. The FX docuseries Welcome to Wrexham has been renewed for a 5th season. FX has also set a summer premiere for Nekaksa.
Coxo?
Yeah, sure. The Cax.
Neokaksu. Naikaksu.
Say it again. Are you frozen? Or are you just
No, I'm
reading?
I'm looking. At
He's
the word.
mentally frozen.
No, that's Nekaha. That's
Nekaha?
Nekaksa. That's Nekaksa.
All right. Well, Google thinks it's different, but that's fine.
I'm looking at it. I was like, that's an Aztec word. So I'm trying to like look at the way you actually say the
Who
word.
is more Latino, you or Google? Because
Nekaksa.
Google says Nekaksa.
Oh, Nikaksa. Okay, I see it now. Nikaksa. Okay. A new docuseries from the Welcome to Wrexham producers. Nikaksa. Okay, I gotta remember that now. Following their success with Wrexham AFC, Reynolds and McElhenney bought a stake in Mexico's club Necaxa. FX greenlit the Wrexham-style docuseries about the soccer team, which Ava Longoria also has a stake in. So have another opsis here.
From Wales to Mexico, Opsis, trading pints for tacos, synopsis.
From Wales to Mexico, Opsis, trading pints for taco synopsis. Órale. Per a new synopsis, Necaxa sees Longoria work to reignite the soul of one of Mexico's oldest and most storied football clubs with Reynolds and McElhenney's help. The series follows a turbulent transformational time marked by staff shakeups, career-defining injuries, and the relentless grit of the football team determined to defy expectations and deliver hope to its city of Aguascalientes, Mexico. Once a powerhouse in Mexican football, Club Necaxa has spent decades navigating instability, including relocations, relegation battles, and near-constant reinvention. Though its legacy has flickered in and out of the national spotlight, a passionate core of diehard supporters continues to believe, clinging to the dream that their beloved Rayos will one day rise again. And I feel just like a little girl. That's where we're going to go. Actually, maximum effort. That's where we feel here. Season 5 of Welcome to Wrexham will follow the club's upcoming debut in the EFL Championship after its 3rd consecutive promotion. Season 4 is currently airing, having premiered on May 15th.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
we're getting a 5th season of Wrexham, and we're getting a spinoff.
Yeah,
I guess football clubs are the new alcohol for celebrities.
I guess so. Hey, I'm all for it, man. Like they did so much for Wrexham. I would love to see what they do for clubs like Necaxa. I mean, like that'd be dope.
What I love seeing is like the interesting partnerships that McElhenney and probably more Ryan Reynolds puts together.
Yeah.
You know, like they've done like 7 different jerseys and different colors of those jerseys for Wrexham, and they just keep selling them. It's crazy.
I wonder who their sponsor is going to be on this one.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Didn't they have TikTok? They had TikTok, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like last year or something like that.
Wow.
I'm into it. I like it. I like
I'm
me some
also
Wrexham.
into it. I think this is a good idea.
Well, speaking of making a comeback on Hulu, I mean, we're finally going to have someone meet all our propane and propane accessory needs here.
Also,
Hulu.
propane and propane accessories.
Exactly. Hulu has released the opening credit sequence for Mike Judge and Greg Daniels' revival of the hit animated series King of the Hill, and it offers a first look at Bobby Hill, all grown up. The revival will be set 15 years after the original show ended, and center of the middle-class Hills family living a normal life in Texas in the wake of Trump's presidency. So we have a, God dang it, Bobby, there's better be a naked cheater under your bed synopsis.
God dang it, Bobby. Synopsis. There better be a naked cheerleader under your bed. Synopsis.
So after years of working a propane job in Saudi Arabia and to earn their retirement nest egg, Hank and Peggy Hill returned to a changed Arlen, Texas to reconnect with old friends Dale, Boomhauer, and Bill. Meanwhile, Bobby is living his dream as a chef in Dallas and enjoying his 20s with his former classmates Connie, Joseph, and Chang. King of the Hill will premiere on Hulu August 4th, 2025. I'm excited. I loved King of the Hill when it started.
Mhm.
I like that everyone's coming back, that they could. Obviously, now, after the events that just happened yesterday, we had another person now voice cast that's dead, and they're talking about these changes because obviously, you know, their niece died. You know, she died in real life, and her husband that she married died in real life, and then Dale himself, the actor, died. He recorded some original lines. Now Toby Huss is coming to voice Dale for upcoming episodes.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do with John Redcorn, especially because he had recorded a whole bunch of lines for it as well. You know,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he recorded a bunch of lines for John Redcorn. What I'm kind of interested in is, so the rumors based on seeing that opening is that Dale is the mayor of Arlen. We're pretty sure that Boomhauer is banging everybody still, and then also that they mentioned something about Bill gets cancer, so that's going to be interesting. Kind of like what happens with all that, which kind of, like we talked about this the other day. It makes sense because of all the testing that Bill did while he was in the military. You know, I'm sure like some of that just caught up to him and whatnot. And they'll have something like on there. Now, also, I want to see what kind of relationship that Bobby and Joseph still have, and whether Bobby and Connie actually, like, you know, like either if they're together or if they linked up at one point and it just didn't work out.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it'll be interesting. I can see Bill, though, unfortunately, thinking he has cancer because he's not that bright, and it turns out it's not true.
Yeah, and that would actually be funny, is for Bill to think he got cancer but didn't, and it would have to be at some point during like COVID where he's just like, yeah, you know. If you look at the opening, they show like, you know, at COVID, like they half of them disappear.
Yeah,
you know, so it's just kind of like, it's going to be interesting to see where they go with all that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, also, there's a long-standing fan theory that Bobby is actually Bill's son.
Oh yeah.
So what if they address that? You know what I mean?
I think, unfortunately, we're going to be missing Dale at his peak conspiracy moment during the pandemic, because I would love to see Dale in that scenario.
Well, they showed him chin diapering it, so I mean, like,
I'm just saying, he is the chemtrails guy. I can see him have his own podcast. Let's say that.
Oh yeah, and you know, he's just gonna be like, I called this out a long time ago. I told everybody that this was gonna happen.
He's all in Texas's Joe Rogan.
That's why everybody voted me to be mayor. is because I called it out on everybody. Everybody knew it was coming, and I told you it was going to happen. Pakistan.
That sounded a little like Cat Williams, though. Even the conspiracy theory part. Little Cat Williams in there.
It's fair.
You mean to tell me I'm going to wear this diaper on my face? I don't want to wear this. Statistically, it does nothing. You know he's going to be that conspiracy theorist. He's going to be that guy.
Oh, for sure.
It's Dale. If he's not that guy, they're not writing him right.
Oh, yeah, and he tried committing voter fraud, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Anyways, let's continue on here, guys. Hold on, let me make sure because I've got like 3 pages that I've got to do here. So 1, 2, 3. Dark Clouds over Wakanda. EA single-player Black Panther game was officially canceled, and with it, the end of cliffhanger games before the studio even shipped the title. The news comes in the wake of EA's latest wave of layoffs, which continues to reshape the publisher's priorities and studio lineup. IGN confirmed that the open-world third-person action adventure set in Wakanda is no longer happening. Cliffhanger Games, the Seattle-based team working on the title, has also been shut down. Just a month ago, EA laid off 300 to 400 people, including roughly 100 at Respawn, resulting in the cancellation of a Titanfall game that hadn't even officially announced yet. That upsets me.
Wow.
There is still hope on another front. Skydance New Media is deep in development on Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, a narrative-driven action adventure that teams up Captain America and Azuri, T'Challa's grandfather, the Black Panther of World War II, in occupied France. That game is still very much alive.
Wow.
So I remember the trailer for that game. At first I thought this game was that, and I was kind of pissed off about it. And then I found out this was a different game.
That looks like Fortnite skins myself.
Kind of, yeah. But I mean, the gameplay looks really good though, and that's kind of like why I was interested in it. This game sounded fun. I remember going back and seeing this, and this game sounded like really fun. You get to explore Wakanda. You deal with all the different tribes within Wakanda. It was supposed to open the lore from just what we see in the movies and kind of expand on everything, so everybody can kind of see how everything actually works within that universe. And you were supposed to do like different, fights and adventures and stuff within Wakanda. As much as I was upset about this, what really upset me was one, cutting that many people at Respawn, which Respawn actually tends to do really good games. They're the ones that handle all the Star Wars games that have been like super popular as of recent. But canceling a Titanfall game, I did not realize they were finally getting back into Titanfall, because Titanfall, where they went with that, if you guys are unfamiliar, I know Chuck plays this game, but Apex Legends is a game that takes place within the universe of Titanfall. Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's a battle game that takes place within that universe. I played it for a little bit. It's a fun game. I can't get into battle royale games too much. But like they were going to go and revisit that story because they didn't finish the story from 2, and they were finally going to go and finish the story in 3, and it looks like they're cutting that. So
they should be EA. It's not a game.
Yes. EA Sports. We disappoint everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So
how do you guys feel about games in general, like the state of games right now in 2025?
It's hit or miss. Like there are games that are really good. There are games that are just kind of meh. Like the one thing that I've noticed that they've been kind of pushing back on, and studios have been kind of like listening, is pushing away loot boxes. Because I think they're starting to realize, it took them a while, but they're realizing that we don't want games with loot boxes. We as much as they want to, hey, buy this $80 game and then spend $20 to get this chance to get an extra character or skin that you can't get in the game otherwise. Like, you know, they screwed up with Battlefield or Battlefront 2. Yeah. I've seen that. You know, the only game that's really kind of like the two games that are winning off of that marketing idea are Call of Duty and Fortnite. And it's because it's more skins than anything. What they're doing is they're selling extra skins, but they're not things that you get advantages in the game for.
It's not pay to play.
Right. You know, you're paying
to be pretty
stupid amounts of money in order to get a character you want to play with, or you are grinding like crazy in the game to get in-game currency so you can. So I got Jay and Silent Bob. Took forever to get enough in-game currency to get them in Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
And then they came out with Blunt Man and Chronic, and I was like, not doing it. I'm not going to spend money on that.
No, the way I see the state of video games, the same way I view the state of movies, is because you can have these AAA games that sell 100 million copies, and they go, not profitable. We're done. Studio's shutting down. But you don't, and not everything needs to be that 40 to 50 hour gameplay from these games that cost $90. You can still have the indie storytelling 8-hour games that should still exist. But we're missing that middle ground, I think, from those AAA to the indie, just like we are in the movie. We're missing that big Hollywood budget and the indie. There's that middle ground that should exist.
Yeah, this game has been that middle ground where you get really good storytelling along with that AAA experience, and the gameplay is really good. I haven't played it as much as I want to because I kind of vowed to only play it on stream when I'm on stream, and I've only streamed on Saturdays, and you know the last 2 weeks we've been doing cons and stuff, so I can't play it. Also, this last weekend I didn't have the wire. I finally got my wire today, so I can actually start playing again. But I mean, like, you know, that's like one of the rare games, right? The other one that I'm hearing is amazing right now is Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah,
I'm actually hearing the storytelling in that is really good.
But still, big studios. Ubisoft is a huge studio.
Oh, it is. It's massive. That's the thing. Is like what I'm saying is like that's one of those games that it's the bridge, right? Because they have gone to this whole make the game look pretty, but the game is not that good, or you know, make indie studios tend to make really good games, but they don't look as good as a AAA studio would make it, right? So, you know, what I'm saying is this game right here is that middle ground where you know you have a really good narrative story, really good gameplay, very like everything is kind of all around. You're not getting that with every game in the world right now, right? Because a lot of games are just kind of, you know, push it out there, right? But I think again, where I think the AAAs are starting, where they learned like, hey, we fucked up, was Cyberpunk.
Yes.
I feel like Cyberpunk was one of those games where amazing narrative storytelling put out the game way before it was ready to be put out, and we got a shit game. And a year later, they finally fixed all the bugs, and I mean, there still were like some small ones, but the game was a lot better. And then the DLC started coming out, and those were way worth it. Like that kind of gave us, like, by the time the first DLC came out, by the time Phantom Liberty came out, that's the game that we should have got on day one.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a sign like, hey, some publicity is bad publicity. You know, like if you get a reputation, it's a bad game. Even if you make it better in 6 months, nobody's gonna go jumping for it.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. I was just gonna say No Man's Sky. Like the amount of games that have come out that were complete garbage on launch because the studios are like, we have a date, put it out, and just put a DLC out and fix it later, versus you see the amount of patience that gamers have. Like the biggest example of I'm gonna be patient for this game is Grand Theft Auto 6. Because they keep pushing it back, and I don't think gamers are pissed that it's getting pushed back. I mean, they're pissed that it's getting pushed back because, hey, you know, it's been so long, but at the same time, it's been so damn long. I can wait another 6 months for this game if it's going to be a better game on launch.
It's no longer just one guy for 5 weeks as his computer making ET.
Right.
Cool. Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
We are. So it's time to get into all the craziness. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little. Sorry, I didn't even realize this wasn't on the screen yet. Let's talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend. It's Tudum.
Ta-dum. Netflix had their biggest night of the year, hosted by Life List's Sophia Carson. She's also in Descendants. Netflix Tudum 2025 featured a range of performers, including 14-time Grammy-winning Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
Gaga.
Gaga?
Gaga. Gaga. Oh God, it's not on my screen.
All right, here's the story. Here's the headlines that came out of that. Their comedy series, Nobody Wants This. Netflix has set an October 23rd release date for season 2. I actually really like this series. It was super funny.
It was good. It was really good.
Your wives would like this.
My wife did like this.
Exactly.
My wife is the reason I watched it, and it was good.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Squid Game season 3 dropped the official trailer. They even had Lee Jung Jae, JJ, right? Isn't that what they called him on Acolyte? JJ?
I think they did. I think they started calling him JJ.
He was in the mix, the final season of the show, and introduces the official trailer for season 3. Yeah, there we got that. What else did we get? Oh, Grafe, what do we get?
Yes. So, following the hilarious intro from the film stars Daniel Craig, Mila Kunis, Kerry Washington, Jeremy Renner, and more, viewers are treated to an exclusive sneak peek of Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, a anticipated standalone sequel to Knives Out from 2019 and Glass Onion 2022, will release on December 12th, 2025. And yes, Rian Johnson, you can make all these movies you want. Stay out of Star Wars.
I agree.
I really thought Graveyard was being like happy and optimistic and positive.
I love these movies. I do love the Knives Out mystery movies.
Okay.
I absolutely love them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I agree, is because the Knives Out movies are amazing. They're so perfectly written and so just kind of like you're on the edge of your seat because you're just like, what's going to happen next? And then Star Wars was just kind of like, why did you do that? Why? You're the reason the last movie sucked, because they had to go and fix everything after that.
Yeah.
Remember Batista just in his little Speedo swim trunks shooting guns in the air? It's a good scene.
I have that scene placed as a poster above my bed. Just
above the bed.
Above the bed.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like the mirror. It's like when you put a mirror above your bed, but in reality, you're just staring at Batista.
All right. What else do we get? We got a One Piece season 2 character and release date update. So I guess they had a bunch of the characters there. Season 2 of the hit live action pirate series. They introduced Tony Chopper. I guess that's a big character within One Piece. Who revealed the One Piece season 2 trailer, and it's coming sometime in 2026. Good times.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is, hey, it's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
It's Matt Damon.
They got a new movie called The Rip. So it's a Netflix's new crime thriller starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Is one of the streamers' most anticipated film releases. Do they still have their film company?
I think they do. They probably co-produce this.
Oh,
yeah.
Guarantee it.
The stars debuted a first look preview and announced that the movie will drop January 16th, 2025.
This next one, I know Grave's gonna
of course
talk about this, but I mean, I did not realize this was on Netflix. I thought specifically this one was like something that was gonna be in
theatrical release.
Yeah.
Next, Fire Bad. Oh,
Fire Bad.
Oscar-winning director Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein's adaptation dropped his first teaser trailer during Netflix Tudum. 2025. The film stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, and Felix Kammerer, and with Charles Dance and Christopher Waltz, and we released on Netflix this November. I'm interested to see what this looks like. It looks like a good return to gothic Frankenstein story. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer, but it looks amazing because Guillermo del Toro does horror well.
It actually does look really good. So I mean, anything Guillermo del Toro does is always going to be visually amazing. So I'm all for it.
I like it.
Yeah.
So I guess who is it? Jacob Elordi? Is he the one that's playing the monster?
I think so. They didn't show what the monster looks like. I know I can see Christopher Waltz doing it because we had a tough guy in the 90s played the monster, and that was De Niro.
There you go.
In Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, he played the Frankenstein
That's
monster.
right.
So I do see that, but you know who I see Christopher Waltz playing more than anybody?
Who?
Bleed Villager.
No.
Magneto.
Magneto. No. God damn it! What's his name?
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing.
I could see that,
Ooh.
except Van Helsing's typically in vampires.
In Dracula, but I mean,
Yeah.
in a lot of in a lot of adaptations of it, where they've put everything in the same universe, they've had Van Helsing not as a vampire hunter, but just as an expert.
I mean, we don't talk about the Hugh Jackman movie very much about that. Okay?
Hugh Jackman.
Jackman. All right. Speaking of monsters, I guess Happy Gilmore star Adam Sandler and his new co-stars Christopher McDonald and Julie Bowen appeared at Tudum to share more about Happy Gilmore 2. The sequel, which will feature the original creative team from the first movie, is set to premiere July 25th of this year. There's a lot of movies coming in July.
There are. I'm excited. I loved Happy Gilmore.
What? Who are you?
What?
You didn't love Happy Gilmore?
No, I said I did. I loved it.
No, I'm saying James.
No, I loved it. I just didn't expect that from Grave.
Oh, come on. I was in my horror phase then.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was just gonna say, I was like James being the hot take, not liking Happy Gilmore.
No,
What's
I mean,
wrong with you?
Grave was all happy and excited for Happy Gilmore.
He does eat pieces of shit for breakfast.
You piece of shit? Gross.
I love the callback to that in the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2. It's great.
Mhm.
It's great. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, Netflix also premiered the first 6 minutes of Wednesday season 2. Here we go. We're bringing Grave back down to earth, maybe underneath the earth. Jenna Ortega reprises her beloved role as Wednesday Addams, beloved by Grave, in the very anticipated next chapter of the streamer's popular adaptation. Part 1 premieres August 6th, with Part 2 following on September 3rd, 2025. So they're doing... what are they calling it? It's not like binging anymore. It's called batch releases, kind of like
batch releases,
volumes. Yeah, volumes.
Yeah, what Andor did. So, all right.
Yeah,
You excited?
You know what's funny to me? So one, I should probably watch the first season.
You've never seen it?
I'd never seen it. It's one of those shows that's I never got around to watching it, but there's so many other shows that I have to watch that, it kind of got lowered on my priority list, and I just never started it. Once I start it, if I just start episode 1, I'll watch the whole thing. But I mean, I haven't watched it yet. Also, looking at Pugsley, he looks more like Gomez than my boy does.
He looks like he needs to be part of Miss Peregrine's school.
He looks like he's related to Uncle Fester. I'll tell you that much.
You put a pencil mustache on him, and that kid looks more like Gomez than Gomez does.
It's fair. That's fair.
Right.
We have to ask though for the next one. What year is it? What year will it be in Indiana? I'm guessing by how long it's taken. 1997. So
We have the internet.
They have the internet now.
Exactly. The release dates for the highly anticipated 5th and final season of Stranger Things have finally been announced. Season 5 will roll out in 3 parts. Volume 1 on November 26th, Volume 2 on Christmas, and the finale on New Year's Eve 2025. The cast also unveiled a teaser trailer featuring clips from past seasons, building up this epic conclusion, where it's all just a game of D&D.
That's probably what it's going to end up being. Like at the end,
They
it just
wouldn't
ends
do
up
that.
being
Would they
the
do that?
end.
They would. It's the final season. They have your money. They don't care.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now also, and I know like the internet is freaking out about this, but really, Netflix? So you guys are doing Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's?
Nothing like spending holidays with the family, watching kids act like they're teenagers when they're in their 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It's kind of genius to me. You know, you're gonna be sitting around. You're like, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna get excited for Stranger Things.
It's like you're gonna be sitting there with what's the shit that's in Turkey?
Tryptophan.
Tryptophan. Like you're gonna be
Mhm.
sitting there just like bloated, ready to sleep. Let me put on episode 1 of Stranger Things season 5.
Hey, you know, it makes sense because we all look the way Hopper feels.
We all look the way Hopper feels. That is genius.
That's not bad. It's not bad. I'm
Oh,
excited.
man.
Netflix bringing it. All right, to dumb. That was worth it.
And January 1st, 2026, Netflix shuts down because they have no shows left.
It's like Netflix is done. That's probably why they like did it in 3 parts, because they're like, we gotta make this thing stretch as long as possible, guys.
Mhm.
You know what's interesting though? If you look at Netflix, they have to. I feel like they have to fight harder for their content because they have to create a lot of their content. You know, a lot of these other streamers are backed by a studio, you know, or some production company. So they've had libraries where Netflix has to go out and, you know what, we gotta make our own content
Mhm.
because everybody's gonna start taking back their libraries and we're not gonna have a library. So we gotta make our library.
What they do is say, hey, remember that canceled show from 5 years ago that everyone loved? We'll have it back on their show. And it's canceled.
Yeah.
Looking at
Or-
mutants for
Or like, hey, remember that show from like the 90s or 2000s that you used to love? Let me put it on in the background on Netflix, and all of a sudden it'll be a top 10 again. Like Gilmore Girls. Hey,
hey, or
Usually when that happens, that's just an excuse for them to shell out money for another season.
it is. Or, I heard on good rumor that Probe from 1988, all 8 episodes are really great. That needs to be on Netflix just for free.
This is a
Do it.
joke that is never going to end. I love it.
Do it.
We're just going to continuously talk about this show, Probe.
You can't do it to Netflix. You got to talk to like Bezos. Bezos be like, I don't care. How many million? Okay.
What if
Probe me
he's-
where? Probe me where? Okay.
Yeah.
What if
I'm
he
into it.
single-handedly brought Probe back?
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Like we started an entire movement on the internet to bring back the show Probe from 1989.
I like it.
There's tens of us out there.
Tens of us. All right. Well, we've got one last story, guys.
Ooh.
And it's a little bit, not depressing, but kind of disappointing. Marvel skipping SDCC. There are dueling reports regarding that Marvel's plans are for Comic-Con this year. Some reports are saying Marvel will break with tradition and not have its infamous senses-shattering Saturday evening Hall H panel. Another report from Alex Perez at the Cosmic Circus, who is pretty reliable, said Marvel Studios was planning to drop the first teaser for Avengers Doomsday at SDCC 2025. So, when will Marvel announce the rest of the Doomsday cast? And will they promote any other projects?
This one's interesting. I think there's more probability that they're going to skip SDCC, knowing that they just pushed back their 2 big tentpole movies with Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And they're just going to kind of lay low and just see what happens versus like, hey, let's throw something out there, just to do whatever, so we can be at Comic-Con.
Blade. Oh,
Yeah, Marvel's bigger than that.
God,
Plus-
I wish, I so wish that they like came out with like teaser footage for Blade.
Yeah, exactly.
oh. I mean, they haven't caught up on all the things they've teased us in the past 5 years yet.
Right.
Though I could see them doing something with Fantastic Four. Or wait, when is Fantastic Four coming? Yeah,
July.
the 25th. Yeah, some kind of big promotion for that.
It's possible.
Yeah, didn't they debut Deadpool and Wolverine at SDCC?
They did. They actually did a full viewing of it.
Yeah, I could see them doing that for Fantastic Four, and that's the big highlight. So they kind of don't talk about Doomsday or anything else, and they're just like, "Hey, look at our shiny Fantastic Four thing over here, our shiny Silver Surfer."
Exactly that. Look at our shiny Silver Surfer.
They should. They should.
Well,
And
that is
Plushy Herbies to take home.
Oh my God, I would be so jealous if they gave out plushy Herbies and we didn't get any of those. You know who else has amazing merch aside from Marvel?
Who?
With all of that, ladies and gentlemen, it's us. We got merch, people.
We got merch, people. Where's the big?